and bienvenidos, listeners, and welcome to Uber Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives. I'm Brian Ernst, your host for today's festivities, and in the den are the classics, Mitch Brinkman versus Nathan Henenfent. Today, our contestants will reveal and defend their top 5 small locations you would get marooned in. Now, these could be desert islands, the cabinet under the sink, or hell, even under the bed, where you're hiding with a bushel of flowers and her favorite chocolates waiting to surprise her. But there's an extra laugh coming from the hall. 2 pairs of legs enter the room, and the pressure of the mattress increases on your back. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. At first it's steady, and then it's manic. You block out what's happening and stare out at the pair of shoes you bought her for Valentine's Day. Don't worry, it'll be over soon. Rest up, little buddy. You'll get out from under there when the time is right. Our first guest is number 6 on the call sheet, but number 1 in our hearts. It's Nathan Henenfent. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Is hiding under the bed with flowers a romantic gesture?
It is when you're the creep in my story.
I'd never thought of that one.
Well, maybe you should try it. And
People love a tickle on the ankle with flowers when they don't know it's coming. It's very sensual. It's a quick mood setter,
especially to a woman who's alone in her apartment, not knowing that you're there. That's a real smart thing. And I'm thankful our second guest is slightly taller than me, because when I'm lost in a crowd, it's either his ginger hair or Mike's Liquor trucker hat that guides me home. It is Mitch Brinkman. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Speaking of Mike's Liquor, you guys know I love to highlight local business on this show. And this week, for those of you watching at home, I'm rocking a t-shirt of one of my favorite fun shops, Art Smart's Dart Mart in Milwaukee, right there on Brady Street, and Juggling Emporium. They have some of the best things there. They've got darts. They've got high-level darts. They've got darts just for fun. They've got juggling equipment. They also have a great frothing section, tons of discs to choose from. They've got some Grateful Dead paraphernalia and just some novelty stuff. You want some gnarly teeth? They got it. You want some Little Devil one mischief prank a day kit? They got it. So pop up to Art Smart's Dart Mart. They didn't close down for good during COVID, which is pretty cool. So go up to Milwaukee, patronize their business. I would love to get marooned there, but too many of their objects you need to go outside to enjoy, so it would be like just a real tease, so that's it for me. Thank you so much. It's been great, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Didn't think I'd have to use it this early in the show, but there we go. All right. We are clever guys, but also want our sultry tones to be pleasing your ear holes. So head on over to bizbear.biz to submit your suggestions, or even scroll on further down the page to see testimonial from Talcum and Rub-a-Dub, our favorite feral children. And for you newbies, here's a quick rundown of the rules.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic, arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host, who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare down.
You will hear the official Uber Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score. And as a reminder, don't forget to stick with us until the end of the show, where I, Brian Ernst, will give you my Fast 5 send-off, where I'll rattle off the definitive list of the top 5 movie line deliveries that tickle me. And as host, I'm entitled to institute a house rule for today's game. Host bonus points to the gentleman with the most unexpected location on their list. So please surprise me. Mitch, you won the pre-show Latin Grammy for your racially insensitive cover of Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al. Me puedes llamar Jorge. Not sure the inspiration behind it, but it's a hit nonetheless, so who am I to complain? So, interesting choice, but congratulations on your Grammy. Your number 5, please, sir.
Thank you. I absolutely didn't deserve it, just like Macklemore when he won his. Okay, my number 5.
Did you see the have you seen the music video for You Can Call Me Al?
Yes.
It's just Paul Simon and Chevy Chase.
It's one of the best music videos of all time.
I had never seen it before today, and it is quite entertaining.
Yeah, it's just pure, that part of the 90s that was still the 80s, it was just a strange...
Mostly because it was the 80s, I think.
What wasn't Graceland came out in 94, I thought?
Like 86 or so.
Oh, was it 86? Man. Oh,
yeah.
Never mind then. Oh, I thought it was... Okay, well...
Anyway.
as a young boy, You Can Call Me Al was my favorite song to dance to at daycare. So I was known to put it on, throw on like a dress or like a cowboy outfit, just like dress up and just shake my booty to You Can Call Me Al. So, yeah, my number 5 though. Let me just roll right into here. My number 5 is an absolute fantasy location to get marooned in. You know how most of the time when you get marooned places you lose weight, a la Tom Hanks, that one movie where he's on the island.
Castaway.
Castaway. Yeah, he's a UPS worker, or is he a
FedEx?
USPS.
Get it right.
Or is it DHL? I don't remember now. But yeah, okay. So he works for one of those shipping companies, or is it Amazon Prime? He's an Amazon Prime. That's right. Sorry. This one I am gonna gain weight because I am getting marooned in Ina Garten's Montauk kitchen. Do you guys know who the Barefoot Contessa? Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know who you're talking about. I did not know that was her name.
I need to be enlightened. Who is this?
She's a Food Network personality. She's not like a
celebrity chef,
like big time chef, but she's just imagine like your wealthiest aunt who always pops the collars of her like blue button up shirts and wears slacks all the time, but she's very kind. Yes. She never drinks too much. She's always put together, and she has a husband who's not there enough. He's always in the city. And you're like, are they actually married? Is this a cover up for both of them? What's going on? But what's cool about Ina Garten is she used to work, she met her husband while working in the government. She worked I think it was on like a nuclear commission or something, very high level, like brainy shit. And then she decided I'm going to quit and become a homemaking scion. And she makes wonderful, wonderful meals. They're comfort foods, all of them.
Yes.
She doesn't skimp on the calories. That's why I love that. So basically, I'm the new Jeffrey, and I'm gonna be, chained up in her kitchen, and I will be she's my sun and my moon, and I'm waiting till the next time she shows up. It's like finally finding cherries in the grocery store during the summer. You're so happy, you're so excited, because I'm guessing Ina has a place in New York City as well. Montauk is, way out on the end of Long Island. So she's going to be stuffing short ribs in my mouth. I'm going to be enjoying her cereal Rice Krispie treats, her beef roast. What else? Oh my God, her lemon strawberry muffins. No one makes those. No one does, but Ina does, and they're fucking incredible, and they're flaky, and they fill you up, and they remind you of a childhood you never got to have because Ina Garten is that classy. So, sure that the kitchen might be big by kitchen standards, but it's not that large of a place. Maybe maybe 600 square feet. I don't know. Probably smaller than that, hopefully. Ina doesn't seem like someone who would go ostentatious with her kitchen. But what also I love about this is when I'm passing the moments waiting for Ina, I'm looking out the window wondering when will she return. Licking a little bit of peanut butter off my lick mat now and again on the floor.
Whoa.
I'll get to experience the seasons as well because we're in Montauk. So, I'll get those fall leaves. I'll get the light snow during winter. And then when spring comes, I will be reborn anew, and that's when I know Ina will be coming with that new spring and early summer fruit to make me crumbles, to put a little dollop of whipped cream on my nose and wipe it off with her tongue.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Did I say tongue? I meant to say napkin. But and then it'll be great because she'll have to ask me to finally leave because one day she'll show up and I'll just be dressed like her, speaking like her, mimicking her mannerisms, and that's when I'll be unmarooned. But until then, wow.
This sounds like a pitch for a really great revisionist horror movie where you sign up for this thinking it's going to be paradise for you, but then by the end you are chained up and you're being forced to, like when Homer Simpson goes to hell and it's all those donuts and they just keep coming at him and he just has to keep eating donuts till the end, and you're just going to be pushed to the end. She's going to be shoving muffins and blueberry pie into your mouth just until you can't take it anymore, and eventually you either escape to freedom and warn the others, or you succumb to your own gluttony forced at the hands of the barefoot Contessa.
Oh,
maybe, I mean, I was always just picturing just you in the corner with a funnel in your mouth as the Contessa's bare foot is just shoving food down your gullet. She's just trying to really fatten you up for winter.
Well,
but it's always winter in her house.
As long as she's shoving Wilshire Farms pork ragu, pasta down my throat, I'm fine with that, man.
I'm fine with that, man.
And also, she's never had kids, I'm pretty sure. So, maybe she wants to have a kid, and maybe she's, I don't know, I'm there. So, I don't know.
You could totally.
Who knows? I don't know. So, yeah.
I did not think this. I didn't think this would. Well, hey. I didn't think this would get to Food Network stars today, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Plus, it is nice seeing a non-racist Paula Deen making high-calorie meals. And her husband kind of looks like Santa Claus, so it always looks like he's always coming in for food. And who doesn't want to be Jeffrey? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You got to come in. Stop it. I'm getting hungry. We got to move on to Nathan. Nathan, you're number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is the only one on my list. I've actually been to this place. This is, and I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways, but Christiania, which is an anarcho-syndicalist independent commune in the center of Copenhagen in Denmark. It was founded in 1971. There was an old military barracks that was just sitting there. So a bunch of hippies and free thinkers and roustabouts started squatting there. And they decided that they were going to make their own rules. They were going to rule as a collective. And eventually it grew, and it has 800 inhabitants. And they don't operate within the city's jurisdiction. They have their own code of ethics and conduct, and there's a lot of artists and independent spirits in there. And so when I was there, there's a lot of the homes and dwellings some of them are quite nice and sort of look upscale, but then a lot of others have sort of tin siding. They were built by people with just whatever materials they could get their hands on. Others are the old barracks and warehouses that they've repurposed. Among their rules is no weapons, so that's cool. There's no hard drugs. So for many years and up until when I was there, 2012, when I went in there, I was walking along. It's called the main street is called Pusher Street, as in pushing drugs, because you could buy various cannabis products. And so this was a few years back, and so it was still this is because cannabis was illegal in most places. And so I felt walking through there, I was wow, I'm really beyond the pale here. This is on the other side of the society. The man can't stop any of these people. Look at him just living. And now here in Chicago, marijuana is legal, so it's kind of lost some of that sparkle of otherness and extremism. There's no cars, and they also have a no running rule. You can't run in this place. No running. It's illegal to run because when they think it will cause panic, because often the police will come in and try to raid it for drugs, et cetera, and just generally kill the vibe. That's really the problem, is the police will often kill the vibe. So no running, because you don't want anybody to think that the vibe is being killed anywhere within the confines of the commune.
Can you race walk? That's my only follow up right now.
You can go as fast as you like, as long as there is no point in time where both feet are off the ground. That's my understanding of race walking. So I assume it applies. But who knows what the collective of the 800 residents have voted on for the specifics. I haven't checked the town charter in a while.
More importantly, will Mitch be accused of cheating if he runs behind the race walking instructor? Will he kill the vibe and get the cops called if he lies to the race walking instructor?
Well, they operate on the honor system, as most good anarchist communes do, I believe. Their motto is everyone's place and no one's place. Ownership is not a concept they are familiar with there. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. They have a secondhand store. Like if you need clothes, I say secondhand store. It's basically a gigantic box that is just sitting outside, and people will be like, oh, I don't need this. I'm really hot and sweaty, so I'm just going to take this shirt off, and now somebody who's cold can come pick it up later, which isn't disgusting at all. The spirit of the idea is very generous, but in practice, it looked pretty gross. I don't know. I was there. I drank a few nice beers. It was a nice sunny day. Everything was super cheap because they're trying to do away with capitalism there. I remember looking this up on YouTube a few years ago, and I think this will tell you everything you need to know about the place. Is one of the people, when somebody's on TV and they're interviewed, and at the bottom of the screen it says their job, it'll be like, oh, Brian Ernst, videographer, or whatever the case may be. This person, it had their name, and then it said roller skating political activist. So that's the type of profession that you are able to pursue without abandon in Christiania. So that's my number 5.
Wow. I mean,
if this place is about, so like finders keepers doesn't work here, because they're like, I don't know what keeping is. So I don't think I'd like that, because I love saying finders keepers and stealing change from people.
I think you could probably take advantage of the system pretty hard, though. You could justify almost anything. If you could take anything you want, and you'd be like, well, this is all of ours, so why can't I have it right now?
Yeah, that would be so annoying. Oh man, I feel like everyone just has just like a boiling amount of just like yelling that's about to happen just under the surface. Like if someone's walking around being like, you don't need this, I need this now, like this is my apple, as you take it out of their hand half eaten or whatever. I know that doesn't happen, and people are nicer than that, but
there's except with lots more cannabis.
Yeah.
You got to remember, these are a pretty chilled out group of people. Pretty chilled out.
It kind of sounds like, just a high Wild West. And I don't know how much gets done there, but I mean, the vibe sounds great. So,
yeah, it was cool. I mean, I was there for about 2.5 hours, like 9 years ago. So it was a fun place to visit. It's sustained because it is such a tourist attraction, and it's, there's no weapons. Like it's perfectly, like, it may seem like it's outside the bounds of society on paper, but it's super safe. And so a lot of tourists do go there. And so their economy actually survives on outsiders' money that's being pumped in because so many tourists come through. So it's not like it's self-sustained economy within its own boundaries. There is a lot of outside cash coming in.
Well, so, and you said it's an old military base, you said?
Yeah, like a barracks.
Like a barracks. Okay. And so how many people, if you had to roughly estimate, live in Christiania?
800 is the figure I found today when I was looking it up. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Do they all wear like similar colored clothes, or are they allowed to or do they leave and get like an old?
It is from what I remember, it is very, very colorful stuff. A lot of like handmade stuff that's made by people who live there, the creative people who live there. And also it's just a very colorful place in general, because the things that are built are just sort of a hodgepodge of materials. And then there's graffiti everywhere. It's all the old brick buildings have been just covered with graffiti murals over the years. It's a very colorful environment.
Well,
What would be your job if you lived in Christiania? What's your draw to this place, Nathan?
Well, I'm going to quote Nigel Tufnell from Spinal Tap and say I would be a full-time dreamer.
Oh, okay.
That Dacia point right there.
I would contribute very little. I would be the mooch, the town mooch.
All right, Nathan, I'm going to give you 2 points for this round. I can't see myself going there. This is not a place for me. And Mitch, for bringing up the barefoot Contessa so early in the episode, you're going to get the full 3 points because I can't wait to see her shove food down your gullet. Moving on to our number 4. Let's go right on back to Mitch. What is your number 4 top 5 small location you could get marooned in?
I would love to get marooned on the platform that is attached to the Price is Right Plinko board, baby. I would spend weeks there, however long it takes to figure out. I would keep record of every single Plinko drop that I do, 5 discs at a time, because yes, I correctly guessed the price of the 5 or the 4 additional products. But 5 discs at a time, recording each drop, its slot, its ending point, to figure out exactly how does this Plinko board work. And if I figure it out, that's incredible. Then I'm going back to Price is Right every single day until I get called up there. And then I somehow get to play Plinko as well. I'm going back every time, and then I will become the reigning #1 Plinko champion. I think the all-time record is $31,500. I think is what I watched a YouTube video that said this is the record. So I'm aiming to beat that. I'm going for at least 31,000, $750 or whatever it is. Fuck it, go for 50,000, the max you can make. But what I like about this idea is that, one, you're inside the Price is Right studio, so even when the lights are off, the shine and the glow from the history in that place is still going to keep your spirit alive. When you're in a pitch black studio, you'll feel Bob Barker there with you. You'll feel the Price is Right showgirls there with you. You'll feel the new, I haven't watched Price is Right enough recently. I don't know what the new models are like, but Drew Carey's weird see-through glasses are there with you. And I don't know, something about looking down at the Plinko board is gonna comfort me at night cause I'm gonna lay, the top half of my body is gonna lay on top of the Plinko board as I sleep through the night. I'm not gonna leave that thing, and just to be able to feel the weight of those Plinko chips as well in your hand. I'm gonna become the full Plinko board expert, and when I come out, I'm gonna smell, of course. I'm gonna be,
why?
Well, no, because there's nowhere to shower. There's nowhere to. I'm just gonna be living on that platform, that little platform. So,
okay.
I mean, hopefully I won't smell too bad.
Plinko's the one where you drop the chip at the top and it bounces off the pegs and then it lands in a receptacle of different values. Is that the one?
Yes, a receptacle of different values. That's exactly got
a receptacle of different values.
The name of my 4th studio album. Thank you.
They're called money slots, okay? And right in the damn middle is the $10,000 money slot. I'm putting 5 straight Plinko chips right in there. But what I was gonna say is that when I come out of here too, I'm gonna be severely needing some sunlight, because I will have been inside of a television studio for weeks on end. And so I will be the direct opposite of Bob Barker, who always was permatanned. So I think that will help me. I don't know, that yin and yang energy, I think will help me draw me back up onto the stage when the Price is Right is filmed again, and I'm there, and it'll be so obvious too that I'm a Plinko expert when I get up there, and I'm gonna lead the crowd in chants. my first disc, I'm going to drop them and have them chant, first disc, first disc, first disc. And then the second disc, I'm having them chant, second disc, second disc, second disc. And then in between, I'll have them chant, 10 grand, 10 grand. So it'll be as close as I ever get to being a rock star, working that Plinko board just perfectly. So
if I boil this down, your entire plan is to hide under a game within a game show to study how the Plinko falls so that when you are saved, you can become an expert at your one chance to play this game.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was perfectly clear. And it was how stupid of a plan it was. I just wanted to make sure it was boiled down to those 6 seconds.
Okay. You have watched The Price is Right before, right? You've worked both Bob Barker and Andrew Carey. The sound and the energy that comes from the crowd and the contestants when the announcer says, Jamie, look out, you're playing Plinko! Everyone goes fucking nuts. People love Plinko. The only thing that's better is maybe when they say, a brand new car! You know, that's about it. That's about it. So to ride that high, to experience that singular American game show, you know, titular peak moment, orgasmic, give it all to me right now moment. That's what I want. And I'm willing to put in the time. I'm willing to put in the time to be the greatest.
I do appreciate
champ
that.
ever.
That is a lot of time put into winning a game within a game. So I appreciate your long game strategy. Let's move on to Nathan for his number 4. What do you have on your list for top 5 small locations you would get marooned in?
All right, I'm going glamorous for this one.
Oh,
I'm going with the second smallest country in the world. You could fit this entire country within New York Central Park. I'm going to Monaco, and I'm going to spend most of my time at the Casino de Monte Carlo. I'm going to be wearing my tuxedo. I'm going to be looking like James Bond. I'm going to be doing a lot of gambling. I'm going to be taking my Aston Martin out for spins around their Grand Prix course, which, as long as the race isn't going on, is open to the public. You can take those tight turns, baby. It's out there for you to explore.
Did not know that. That's fine.
Also, it's a tax haven. There are no, as long as you reside there for 6 months and 1 day, so I have to be marooned there for 6 months and 1 day out of the year, then I'll be considered a resident, and then there'll be no capital gains taxes, no property taxes, and no income tax. So all those millions that I'm going to be making at the poker tables and at the roulette wheel, boom, tax free. That's all mine. And then I'm going to be, taking my jet ski out onto the Mediterranean Sea. I'm going to be mingling with all the jet setters from across Europe, all the celebrities who are coming in. I'm going to be doing some high-end shopping as I walk through the cobbled streets of their old town and the pastel-colored buildings. I just can never leave. I'm just, it's going to be a little bit claustrophobic, but I'm going to be so swept up in all the glamour and all the champagne and the women and the money. I'm not sure I would want to. So that 6 months and 1 day is going to be pretty easy for me to stick around. Hopefully I could stay for about 6 decades in 1 day, living the James Bond lifestyle in Monaco, world's second smallest country. But yeah, that's all I got. I just I want to be James Bond. I've wanted to be James Bond since I was 11 years old, and this list is giving me the opportunity to think about it once more.
Is it second only to the Vatican?
That's correct.
All right.
Which is a much there's a lot less gambling and women and champagne in the Vatican
that we know of. Okay. I'm with you here because, I'm a gambling man as well. But would you have enough early funds to last the 6 months and 1 day to get you to tax haven status? Everyone knows more than 2 or 3 days in Vegas is dangerous. You're talking about half a year and a day in the gambling capital of the world. How do you make sure you stretch your money out to make sure that you can make that deadline?
Drive for Uber. That's you can get lots of €5 fares driving from one end of the country to the other. So it would be my gas mileage is gonna be pretty bad. My carbon footprint's gonna be through the roof, and my car's gonna have a lot of wear. My Aston Martin is gonna have a lot of wear and tear on it. And I'm also not going to be able to do it past 7 p.m. because I don't want any drunks puking in the back seat of such a fancy car. But yeah, once a few good weekends driving rideshare through the streets of Monaco, there's gonna be congestion. So a lot of the time I'll just be sitting there, and it'll be like 30-40 minutes getting somebody to the next hotel, and I'll just get paid to do nothing. Then I'm gonna take that all to the roulette wheel. And then I'm going to just dump everything on there. So mathematically, I just have to do this 37 days in a row at most before I drop my entire net worth on the roulette wheel and it wins. And then I build my bankroll off of that. And boom, I'm good to go for my 6 months in one day.
And you are in Europe, so luckily you got only single zero there, so your odds are a little bit better. The other thing, I mean, you could also make supplemental income by starting I feel like you become like a TikTok star of Monaco Uber confessions, and you get some good stories out of these rich people who are waiting 35 minutes for an Uber outside their hotel. Most inefficient Uber service in all of Europe, but that's an interesting take.
I mean, I'll fall back on the tried and true classic of like 60s and 70s movies set in fancy European cities, and I'll just seduce wealthy widows.
You know what? You got a lot of backup plans here, and I'm digging it. And you know me, I'm a roulette wheel fan as well. 34, 17, 20, and maybe 8 and 10 just to cover my odds. So you're going to get 3 points from Mr. Brian here. Mitch.
Yeah.
I like the idea of hiding in a game within a game, but I don't think it's for me. So I'll just give you 2 points for this round. I appreciate the ingenuity, but I just can't find myself to put top 3 on that bad boy. So let's go snake round this time. Back to Nathan for his number 3. Where are you going to get stuck, Nathan, this time?
All right, I'm staying in the glamorous world, but this time I don't need anybody else to be there. I can be on my own, and I'm going with Necker Island, which is the home in the British Virgin Islands of Richard Branson.
Ah, yes.
So this is a tiny little island where he purchased this for $120,000. He bought this whole island for $120,000. Even back in the 80s or whenever it was, that's still a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Cost millions to develop it and put all his buildings on there. So it is very tiny. And my favorite thing about it when I was reading about the accommodations is they can, as like a resort, they can accommodate 30 guests with additional room for 6 children.
That's it?
I thought
30 adults and 6 kids?
It's like, is that like how many kids equals what adult? Like if there's 24 kids or there's 24 adults, could there be more children, or is 6 kids? That's just it, no matter what. Just only 6 kids. At any time. That's
just how many racing car plastic beds are on the property. That's they're at capacity with that.
Well, it's an absolutely glorious, beautiful island away from everything, and they've got all their suites and whatnot. They have those the bathrooms where you got the tub and the bath and the shower where it's like partitioned off, so like nobody from rest of the island can see you, but you're just looking out over the beach and into the world from that viewpoint. It's just extraordinarily private. They've got tennis courts. They actually host a tennis tournament there with, I guess, 30 adults and 6 kids every year. And there was some. It's entirely carbon neutral also, so you can stay there guilt free. There are some interesting people that come through. While I was looking this up, I saw a video of Richard Branson and Archbishop Desmond Tutu in the pool together, and Branson it looked like he was giving him a legitimate swimming lesson, like he was supporting the Archbishop's abdomen as they floated across the pool, and then they were splashing at each other like they were 13 years old and on their first mom supervised date to the local country club pool. It's very adorable. And the first time I saw this is what was I think it was on an episode of MTV Cribs way back in the day. And they were walking around and they go into one of the suites, and then all of a sudden there's just bikini clad Mariah Carey is just there hanging out. So my ideal scenario in this is I'm there by myself, or at least I think I'm by myself, and then I open the door and then just boom, bikini clad Mariah Carey. It's just the two of us. We're going to be hanging out for 6 months and one day, which I've decided is the official time period of being marooned. And after 6 months and one day of loneliness, who knows what will happen. Anyways, they also have rare birds that they introduced, so they have their own ecosystem. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
6 months and one day is also just the only amount of time people can spend with Mariah Carey before they lose their mind. So, I mean, that's also a great measure.
And you're assuming Mariah Carey won't see you and go, "Oh, thank God, I didn't know I had a butler. I would need a club soda with a slice of lime. I would like a plate of watermelon, please." And you're like, "Oh, what?" And then with her power, she's just going to force you into being her butler for 6 months.
This coming from the guy who was ready to have food shoved down his throat by the barefoot contestants.
I broke into Ina's house and I chained myself in that kitchen. She did not put me there. I put myself there.
I think for next week, we're going to have to task Mitch with going to Yahoo News to find some stories of Mariah Carey's personal assistants, because there are some doozies out there, folks.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into this, let's move on to Mitch for his number 3.
Sure. Also, can I just quickly say Nathan's Monaco thing? He mentioned jet skiing and meeting other jet setters on jet skis, or whatever. But I'm just imagining people with their super yachts, and Nathan rides is circling them on his jet ski, and they're like, "Who is this guy on his jet ski just circling us in the harbor?" And then how do you get on? Do they drop a crane for you? Do you just ride right up on the back of their slip or whatever? What's the back of a boat called? I don't know what that's called.
The stern
platform. The stern. I was just imagining these giant yachts and Nathan just ripping around the harbor and just a jet ski. Because you didn't mention a yacht, you just mentioned a jet ski. That's all.
Well, generally, what I would do. This is part of the James Bond experience. Is it'll be an expendable jet ski. It probably won't be mine. It'll probably be one of the henchmen's that I've just dispatched, and I'm just doing a little joyride in order to celebrate. And so I can get rid of the jet ski. So I'll just some folks will be waving at me from their yacht, and I'll speed past them, and I'll do a little backflip or sort of a gainer motion, and then I'll just land flat-footed, and then the jet ski will kind of just go crash into a rock, and then somebody will hand me a glass of Dom Perignon and a towel for me to dry myself off, and then we'll be on our way.
Mitch, I think the answer is much simpler. He's smart. You don't want to own a boat or a yacht. You want to know somebody that owns a boat or a yacht. Save your money. That's the key. Dump it into a gold jet ski with spinning rims, to quote Bo Burnham. But that you need to move on from. Make sure you know somebody with a yacht. All right, Mitch, lay us with your number 3 there.
Sure. So my number 3 is it's also I guess kind of glamorous, but it's like understated glamour. And that is staying in a tasteful suite overlooking the pool at the Chateau Marmont, which is a famed Hollywood hotel at when sunset bends going towards West Hollywood. This place is full of lore, full of history, full of dark secrets. John Belushi died at this hotel. It's been a mainstay of the cool, eclectic Hollywood crowd since the 30s, I believe, when people started going there. And the reason I'm staying in a suite and it has to overlook the pool is because the pool area is not very large here. Everything's it's not too grandiose at the chateau. So I'm gonna be overhearing a ton of great conversations. How great is Susan Sarandon's backhand on the tennis court? Why did Jack Nicholson buy 4 dogs last week when he's already got 4 dogs at home? Isn't 8 dogs too many dogs for Jack Nicholson? Who is Leo banging this week? Who isn't Leo banging this week? Maybe that's a better question. And again, this hotel, it's full of stories. It's full of magic. People think Led Zeppelin rode motorcycles through it. Wrong. That's a myth. They rode motorcycles through the, I think it was the Beverly Hilton or something like that. But so then, of course, too, because I'm a creep, of course, you guys knew that from my number 5 and my number 4 too. Honestly, let's be honest about
Everything you've ever listed on a list on the show. Yes, we are aware.
I'm gonna have I'm gonna have a telescope to look at the stars and the celestial ones, because the real stars will be just down below at the pool, and then the other one. And then I'm gonna have like it'll look like I imagine like a Mardi Gras party mask I'll wear, but it'll be binoculars inset into the mask, so people just think I'm having my own personal Mardi Gras celebration. That will actually be binoculars. And I'll be able to spy down on them at the pool and straight into the windows of the bungalows that are down on the ground level, and the tasteful bungalows, and it's like some other kind of houses they have on the grounds there.
I'm using Mardi Gras themed spy glasses to look into the tasteful bungalows.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I just, it'd be fun to just be. Also, you're in California. The weather's never bad, and there's a patio on these suites. So I'm gonna be enjoying the sun a little bit. I'm not gonna be, sun thirsty like I was on the Plinko platform. They have great room service here. I'm gonna be drinking a ton of champagne, hanging out. People will like yell up to me on the patio, and I'll have to like take off my masks. What? I wasn't looking at you. What's going on? Huh? And they're like, hey, can we come up and party? And I'll say, yeah, come on up. Come and hang. So that's my number 3.
Let me get a look at you with my real eyes.
This is inspired by Howard Hughes back in the day. He rented out the penthouse of this place and was a bigger creep than me and spied on everyone. So that was kind of my inspiration. But I think that would just be so much fun, and just celebs all over the place. And I'm hoping to have a nice view of Los Angeles as well from that height. But yeah, so that's my number 3.
I'm hoping just one little bonus just to have a nice little view. All right.
Yeah. And of course the rooms at the chateau are tastefully appointed. There's always probably some nice art going on in there. Nothing too gaudy. It's understated, but it's classy. So.
While perving at the beautiful, tasteful bungalows, what is the most exciting thing you've seen through your Mardi Gras spy glasses?
Oh my God. So last week when I was there, I finished my marooning last week there. I saw Michael Cera doing cocaine and marijuana dust with the ghost of Dennis Hopper. It was pretty cool. So
wow.
Yeah.
Man, those are some great glasses. That's impressive.
Yeah. And it was cool. Michael Cera stood up to ask for advice, and Dennis Hopper was just gone. So it was kind of sad to see that too. I don't think Michael's gonna make it. So, but
dun dun dun. All right, yeah. Scoring out this very odd round number 3 for rear windowing. I'll give 2 points to Mitchell Brakeman over there, and I was only gonna give 1 point to Nathan, but then he said Desmond Tutu, and I'm like, wow, that brings me back. So there's an extra point there, and I would have given you the full 3, but you said it was a green island, and there's no way Virgin Atlantic is taking off without actual rocket fuel, so can't take off from the island. So you're only getting 2 points for that. Sorry. All right.
And also, at Necker Island, they have an outdoor toilet, right, with no walls. You poop as you look at the ocean.
That would be magical. That was on
MTV Cribs.
Yeah, that's not as novel an idea though. I think people have been doing that since the beginning of human history. Though we could do that today if we really wanted.
Wait, Sir Richard Branson didn't invent pooping outside or CDs or air travel? What?
I mean, there's a little spot I'm thinking of. There's a little mountain just off of I-94 with a little bench on top. If that just had a toilet on it and everyone could just go on the highway watching me take a dump, I mean, that would be pretty magical, I think.
Hey, anything is a toilet if you believe in yourself.
Tell that to my pets. Moving on to number 2s. Nathan, your number 2, please.
All right, my number 2, going a little bit colder climes. And this is one where I wouldn't mind if I was completely abandoned, if I was on this island all by myself. And this is the island of Islay, which is off the west coast of Scotland. Scotland's a beautiful country. Islay's a very beautiful island. A lot of wonderful nature. It's famous mostly for its peaty soil. And the peaty soil is used in its 8 distilleries for Scotch. And so this would have been better if this was like a little bit like a few years ago, because I stopped drinking Scotch a while back. But I used to really enjoy Scotch. And the Islay Scotches were my favorite. When I was in Scotland, I went to the Scotch Whiskey Museum, and there's 5 different regions of Scotch. And Islay, the island itself, is one of the regions. And it's famous just because it's got that mossy, peaty, very rich taste. And when I took the taste test, they said my palate was most compatible with that. And they were right, at least for a few years. And so if I was there all by myself and I was like, well, I'm pretty destitute, pretty lonely, probably going to die here. I would just be like, well, I have an unlimited lifetime supply of wonderful Scotch. I'll start drinking the 25-year stuff first. I'll go marching through the bogs and the crags. I'll look at all the wild red deer that outnumber humans on the island right now. There's only 3,000 people that live there. Then they have so I'll be sitting there with my Scotch, watching the red deer on the land. They have killer whales and seals off the coast in the rocks in the alcoves out there. So just some really beautiful, serene nature. It'd be a great place to go if you wanted to work on some projects. You want to write a book, just go isolate yourself here. You can follow in the tradition of all the great alcoholic writers over the years, like your Hemingways and your James Joyces. So, and if you're not a good writer, just get drunk enough to where you think you are. So
it was on this island that Hemingway wrote Orca in a Kilt, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned kilts, because there is the Islay woolen mill, which is famous for producing a lot of fabrics that have been used in Hollywood movies. Forrest Gump's tweed suit he wears at some point in the movie, that was made there, and the kilts for Braveheart were made there. So
the most
from
historically
this little
accurate
tiny
film of all time. I mean, this is
well, at least the kilts were from Scotland. We do know that,
right? So.
Yeah, and they have also, since I'm no longer a Scotch drinker, they do have one gin distillery, which I think is probably not actually gin, but just clear Scotch somehow. But yeah, this would have been great for me. Like I said, like 3 or 4 years ago, when Scotch was my drink of choice, this would just be heaven on earth for me. Yeah, beautiful place.
And I know you stopped.
Oh, also, that's my other big thing is I'm already a landowner. I do own land. This is true. I own land. I am the legal owner of some land on this island.
Is it 1 square foot?
It is no. It's 2 square feet that are not. They do not. They're not conjoined. So I'm gonna have to buy some other properties in between before I can link them up. But yeah, there was like a golden ticket like promotion that Lefroy Distillery was doing, and I think it was like their 10-year or something. They had a little card in there that was like, "Congratulations, you now own this 1 square foot on the land acreage of our distillery." So yeah, my real estate portfolio, I've diversified. I've gone overseas, and so if I get Marooned, I would like it to be something where I already have a little slice of home. When I'm feeling homesick, I can just walk to my 1 square foot thing and remember that land that I acquired when I was 25 years old. And I can, I'm not sure if I wear size 12 shoes. I'm not sure if 2 size 12 feet can stand fully within 1 square foot, at least not for very long. But maybe I could sort of do like a flamingo 1-footed pose, and I can be on my own land for at least a few seconds.
All your plots of land are like a really complicated Twister game. You really gotta blah blah blah, reach to the back for that. And I know you're sick of talking about it publicly. Your battle with Scotch. I mean, this is where you can see the fight of Nathan versus groundskeeper Willie. It's on YouTube. That's why he can't drink Scotch anymore. I know we don't have to get into it. We've talked about it so many times on this show. I mean, who doesn't want to get lost on an island full of great Scotch, wool, and a bunch of disappropriate pieces of land you can't touch at the same time. I mean, what a great place. You have to try and sleep on 1 square foot. I mean, you have to sleep standing up. That's what you have to get used to that in Scotland, I guess.
I could build like some walls, like 2 walls on it, and I could maybe just do a leaning sleep position. That's possible.
I thought you were like talking about building a chimney. I'm like, that's like claustrophobia nightmare. 1 square foot brick wall.
I couldn't close it in. I couldn't enclose myself though. I'd have to have an escape route.
You need a lot of Vaseline to get yourself out of there too. Mitch, let's move on to your number 2.
This is crazy. My number 2 is a personal chimney. I'm gonna turn myself into veal. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Oh no.
No, my number 2 is also chilly. Actually, this is definitely a chilly place to get marooned, and that is the butter sculpturing studio at the Minnesota State Fair. Now, at the Minnesota State Fair, you go into the dairy barn or the dairy building, and they have it's a cylindrical, rotating, refrigerated glass tube stage. Mecca kind of thing for dairy folks. And in there, the sculptor has a 90-pound block of butter, and then one of the potential winners of the Princess K of the Milky Way contestants sits there and gets her likeness carved out of this butter. She gets a butter bust made. And you go in, and on your way to get a milkshake or to look at, Minnesota Dairy Farmers Association booth or whatever, or go get some bags of cheese, you can watch this butter get carved. The reason why I'd love to be in this, one, I've always wanted to be on that stage. And as a boy in Minnesota, I could never do it. And granted, I know as a man, I'm blessed with tons and tons of advantages. I'm not saying that, but as a Minnesotan, you walk in there, and that's hollowed ground. I mean, those Princess K of the Milky Way contestants are literally on a pedestal. And I've always wanted, I mean, would there be nothing better than to eat your own head? Just a little bit of it every day with eggs. I mean, that would be so fucking wonderful. I'm actually kind of thinking about it, like, why not just get a bunch of fucking butter and carve a sculpture of myself, or get a real artist to do it? Actually, that'd probably be better. But one of the huge advantages to getting marooned inside this case is, one, I mean, obviously the adoration of the population of the Minnesota State Fair. That would be fun. But the artist, Linda Christensen, she's been carving the butter bus for 4 decades straight now. Wow. And this woman was one of the first women to ever graduate from the Minnesota College of Art and Design, the first ever woman who was married with kids that did it. This lady is a fighter. She has stories. She's pivoted when she's needed to keep her success in her life going. She's a craft person at her heart. She makes leather bracelets now. Gosh darn it.
Wow.
She's also a wine consultant in Oceanside, California. So I think just hearing about this woman and how she's gone from a housewife in Minnesota, she got divorced, she's moved across the country, but she still comes back every single year to carve the butter busts of all 12 potential Princess K of the Milky Ways. Kind of blew me away a little bit. She's turned down Oprah Winfrey and David Letterman. They asked for her to come on the show and like do a butter sculpture during the show, and she said no thank you, because she understands that a butter sculpture takes 8 to 12 hours to do. You can't just sculpt butter in an hour. It just doesn't move that quick. And I don't know. I think just being immortalized in fresh Minnesota milk, salted butter would be incredible. I also learned unsalted butter doesn't carve nearly as well. So put that in your hat for later when you guys are making your own butter sculptures at home. Yeah, that's it. I think that would be that's a true Minnesotan dream state right there. So
it's the second time in today's episode where Mitch has been trapped in a kitchen of sorts with an elderly woman. It's a very revealing moment.
Yes.
And also, during this, I couldn't be a Princess K of the Milky Way. I would petition the State Fair or the Midwest Dairy Association that sponsors all of this, petition the Midwest the MDA, if you will, to create a new contest called the number one butter boy, and I would be the inaugural butter boy, and I would love that. And no, we wouldn't wear a crown. It wouldn't be classy. I'd be glad wearing like a big old diaper and a sash. You know, it said like butter boy.
Well, for that image alone, I mean,
yeah. So there it is.
I never knew, Mitch, you dreamed of being the butter queen. I didn't think that this was a thing, but having the best beautiful butter bust, alliteration aside, I think would be something that would fit you so perfectly. And to be the biggest, baddest butter boy would also, I mean, I could see you as a baby butter boy. Yeah. I would coming soon to the Minnesota State Fair. The better butter booters, better. That's what you would be.
This, of course, it started back in, I think it was like the 40s or the 50s, of like them trying to promote Minnesota butter and Minnesota dairy. And of course, like an old man was like, let's get, hot young women and put them in dresses. And, it was like a beauty contest. But I think really, and each contestant has to have a family member that is a dairy farmer or who works in the dairy industry as well. So there's like some part of that, and they can't be married either, and they can't have kids, and they have to be 24 years or younger. So there are some constraints on there. But
a lot more lenient rules for the butter boy.
I think the butter boy contest should just be who really loves butter the most and who can use butter in the most creative ways. And I think I would do very well in that competition.
No, the butter boy has to be over 24 years old and have at least 2 kids. Then you can become the butter boy. Because that butter boy is now a man. And he needs to be enshrined in a bust that will make his year.
I would be, I don't know. I don't know if anything could honestly top getting a bust of myself in butter and getting to eat it. Just shave it off a little bit as you go every day. It warms my heart and it clogs my arteries. I love it. So,
I mean, it warms my heart because I know just all the delicious food you'd be making with your own butter bust. So this is an easy round for me. 3 points all around for watching Mitch shave butter off of his own face. And for Nathan doing the twister on Scottish land while drinking the best scotch in the hottest wool kilt in the world. I love it. So we're going to move on to our number ones. Oh my God, it's that time. We're at number ones. Nathan, lay it on me. What is your number one small location you would like to get marooned in?
Well, I'm going with a place that just has everything you could ever need. It's cozy. It's a place where just a real man's man can be. You can feel like you're king of the castle.
Mother's womb. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. This is the first time I believe we've had a repeat number one choice on this show. This is something we've talked about before. I am choosing Brian's dream home, the 3,000 square foot bungalow with a half-finished basement. I'm going to have some nice little projects to do. It'll never quite be done, just so I have something to look forward to working on. I'm going to mow the lawn every weekend. Gonna have a man cave with a poker table on the dry side of the basement, and then just concrete walls that are dripping wet that I've never quite finished the ceiling.
There you
and
are.
I'm gonna have to have a shop vac down there for particularly stormy days. It's gonna have a little bit of a musty smell, but we'll turn on some fans when we have poker night down there. It's everything you could ever want. What more could you ask for? I'm gonna have a guest bedroom with an ensuite half bath. No shower in there. There just wasn't enough room. Half bath.
You son of a bitch.
The back patio, there's gonna be an awning on the back patio.
Okay.
So that way you don't have to take down the umbrella through the middle of the table, and it won't blow over on windy days. You got the awning. Yeah.
Very classy.
So one of those
Yeah,
retractable ones that we had the infomercial for in the 90s.
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly.
Now we're talking. Now it's like my childhood dreams coming to fruition in my unfinished 3,000 square foot house. Like now it's really rounding out the true dream home. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a detached garage where you park one car, and then you're going to have one car that's parked on the street out front, because the other half is going to be all your odds and ends, like your lawnmower, your barbecue that's broken down and you haven't gotten rid of because you're just sentimentally attached to it, even though you've got a new one already in the backyard.
The bins of Christmas and Halloween decorations. Yeah, you know exactly. They can't go in the basement. They're going to get wet. So
exactly.
God, I mean, I have no follow-ups. You have described the best thing that could ever be. So what am I supposed to ask? I'm just going to move on to Mitch for his number one and be like, top that, sir. See if you can beat my dream house. Please play to the host for this.
This place doesn't have a honey-do list, for sure not. It might have... Actually, no. There's not a lot of overlap. This place is dark though, and it's small. It's very small. It's the smallest in this whole game show today. And so my number one, and this one isn't like, it's not fun. It's not, but it's what we need, or it's what I need. After all my other numbers, this is me paying the piper here, and. It's the place, my number one place to be marooned, and it's small. I would say it's small, very small, dark. The confession booth nearest to the altar on the right side, if you're looking at the altar, at what is now St. Thomas More, but formerly in its glory days, IHM St. Luke's Parish. I'm going to be in that confession booth, and I'm going to have Father David Hashka taking my confessions. And I haven't been to confession since, for real, like actually took it serious, I think since I was like 13 maybe. And so, Father David Hashka is very cool. He used to come out during my parents' softball after game parties they'd had back at the parish. He'd come out with a cigar and a glass of scotch. And he always seemed like a really cool guy to probably get to know and talk to. So I would unload myself, just all over the place in that confession booth.
I was waiting for it.
Make up for lost time. Father, I have sinned. I feel really bad that time I tripped Katie Goodpastor at recess while we were out on the blacktop because she was running slow. No other reason. I'm an asshole. That time I told Ryan Fortune I was at my grandparents' farm so he wouldn't come over and hang out with me and the rest of my friends. We were there. We had pizza. It was a nice time. Sorry, Ryan. This time that I almost hurt my brother very, very bad, I grabbed a tablespoon because he wouldn't unload the dishwasher, even though it was his turn that day, and I threw it at him as hard as I could as he was sitting on the couch, and he had to duck, and it broke a picture behind him. I really shouldn't have done that. And I, karma is a bitch, as they say, and he immediately got up and chased me out the door and threw a bat at me. So, but I should not have done the spoon thing to start. There's that time I threw eggs at some person's house for a whole school year, thinking they were my school bully. Sorry to those neighbors. Connor, you're very lucky. What else? Sorry to Megan. We made out that one time, and I never called you back. I never followed up. I should have done that. That was real shitty of me. Sorry, Megan. Sorry to Khalid. Khalid in high school. I made fun of you, and I shouldn't have done that. It was all because you had transitions lenses glasses, and I thought those were so dumb.
All right, I think this one you're already forgiven on.
I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. It was real dickish of me.
Transitions. That's what gets your goat. Transitions lenses.
He was just.
I
don't know. I was just a dick to him. I shouldn't have done that. So.
You did remind me of one of my transgressions from my youth. The story about you and your brother. I had a very devious plan that I pulled off to perfection. I I was antagonizing my sister all day because I had a plan, and I executed it. So I can't remember. I was just needling her, and I probably did some light punches in the arm at some point. And anyways, I got to the point where I'd made her so angry, she picked up a notebook and started chasing me around the house. And this is exactly what I wanted, because I had in my pocket my little tiny camera that could take 24 pictures on actual film. And I ran into one of the bedrooms in her house. And in one of the great athletic feats of my life, I dove onto it and did a half turn in the air and spun around and took a picture of as she was approaching, where she had the notebook like over her head and ready to strike, and her face was just like her teeth were clenched and baring it like a wild animal about to just and I had to wait for like 2 weeks before I took enough pictures to run through the film and then get it developed. But I got it back, and it was just the most perfect image. It couldn't have worked out any better. So I apologize to my sister for that devious plot.
And kids will never know now that time of, one, you got the photo you needed. Two, the anxiety of not wanting to waste the remaining 14 photos on something stupid. It's called 1 hour photo, but it's actually 2 weeks in 1 hour as you are waiting to finish that roll to finally bring it to the store to be developed. And then you have to then bring the evidence to your parents for something they've already forgotten about. Kids got it so easy these days.
Yeah, I know. I remember showing my parents, I was like, look, Laurel was mean to me. And they were like, when?
3.5 weeks ago. Here's the proof. I paid $14 for this proof. Wow. So, Mitch, I feel like you unloaded a lot in the confession booth and on us. And we're just covered in it. So, I mean, there's nothing else we can do but just take it in, digest it out, and hope that things get better after this. Why is this your number one place? Why do you want to either relive and or confess everything? Because it sounds like you reached the age of reason at 13 years old and never went back. So why now, at your number one, would you want to go back to a confession booth?
There's something about the quiet and you know how the church I went to as a kid, it's a very large, super high roofed, stone church. So there's always like kind of a cool breeze going through it. And I don't know why, but for some reason I felt last time I was in a confession booth kind of at peace in there. And I don't know, I just feel like the Lamb of God is the true way. And I just think you guys should come back to church with me tomorrow. And we should just like get back into praying.
No, please, God, no. Oh man,
I just needed some absolving of my sins, and Brad, I'm really sorry I moved out. Should have never done that. We should have just talked to you. Should have just talked. Should have just communicated. And Brian, I'm so sorry. I snuck out to your house last week and I cut your brake lines. I should have done that.
That would have saved me a lot of headaches because of the brain trauma.
I'm sorry about that. That was a felonious move. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. My bad.
Yes.
Forgive me. Drop the charges, please. So,
well, I don't think I need to drop the charges because instead I'm just going to score this round. And this is number one. Nathan, I mean, you picked my dream house. How are you not getting 3 points for picking the best place that the host wants to be in my subdued suburban 3,000 square foot house with semi-finished basement, maybe some kind of studio, and tons of wet decorations that need to be put up? I mean, this is just...
Wait. Maybe some kind of studio? This is the dream. You have a studio. Just say it out loud.
I mean, it's my dream.
Commit
Stay out of it. Stay out of it, butter boy. All right. So that is 3 points to Nathan. And I don't know. I'm not confession box.
I'm bold.
You're bold. You are bold. But we had
Come
to
on.
relive all the sad things you've ever done, and you cut my break line, so it's only 1 point for
Damn it.
Mitch, which brings Mitch to a grand total of 11 points. And Nathan, I have a special surprise for you. You correctly guessed at the beginning of this. Graceland did come out August 25th, 1986, and not 1994. So you will get a bonus point there.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot what else. You got a bonus point for something else that I didn't write a note for. You got 15 points to Mitch's 11.
All right.
You're the winner. I wrote down +1 with no reason, but you get that point. And oh my God, what a day it's been. Mitch, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go to confession and really fix my break lines if you want to get more points next round.
I totally get it. Was the bonus point for the most interesting place to get marooned? Because that was the house rule.
Most
for this game.
unexpected.
Yes, I
Most
picked my
unexpected?
house. I wrote my house. That's why. Because
Oh,
you picked my
okay.
house. Hey! Thank you for helping me work through this, man. Therapy is great. Thank you, guys. I really needed that. We can't leave today without going through my Fast Five. But first, I would remind our audience, come back to us on St. Patty's Days, March 17th. We're going to do a live Uber Cinco. Just follow us on social media somewhere, and you will be able to see us live that day. But my Fast Five now, the top 5 movie line deliveries that tickle me. Now, let's be clear. These will not tickle everyone, and you may not find them funny, but these are lines from movies in my personal experience that have stuck in my mind because of the way they are said. We would actually love to hear any of your favorite movie line listeners. So if you made it this far in the show, firstly, thank you. We like you too. Secondly, comment, share, send, whatever you kids these days are listening to. Please send us your favorite movie lines. We want to hear them. My number 5 is from a classic that came out on DVD 2 weeks before graduating senior year. This is from Superbad, and specifically the way Seth Rogen says this line.
You're an organ donor.
What?
I didn't want to be one, but my wife insisted.
I always give him shit for it too. I
Say
say
that.
it all the time. I
What do you
say
say? You
it's
say-
just like a woman. Even after you're dead, they want to tear your
Say it
heart
hard.
out. I say it weekly, and it's still funny.
It still makes
I say it weekly, and it's still funny. That throwaway line hits me every time because it's so dumb, but they left it in, and it makes me very happy. Number 4. This one has been said on this show before, but this comes from the NASA classic Apollo 13, and this line is said by the great, great Tom Hanks.
A little while longer. We're gonna hit that water in the South Pacific. Open up that hatch. It's 80 degrees out there.
It's 80 degrees out there. Fredo, you're going to feel so much better when they open that hatch and it's 80 degrees out there. Oh, God, that line, Tom Hanks, right there, goes right through me. Oh, so good. Number 3, from the Penelope Spheris directed classic, probably the best SNL movie ever made. This one is from Wayne's World, spoken by Garth.
Wow, you're amazing, dude.
Thanks. I like to play.
Thanks, I like to play from Garth. Makes me so happy every time I see it with a little cymbal tap at the end. Thanks, I like to play. All right, number 2. From Just Friends, starring Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart. There is a scene where Ryan Reynolds is trying to impress his long-term crush by going ice skating. He can't find his skates, but in the garage, he finds something much better.
Be yourself. Now come on, Mikey, now you're making snow angels.
I don't want to be myself. My snow globe collection.
My snow globe collection. Oh, something again that just sticks with me every time I see it. Dad, that one's for you. All right. Number 1 is from another SNL classic. This is from Tommy Boy, but it is not said by Chris Farley. Instead, the great Brian Dennehy.
This is great. You can put 6 packs of soda in here, milk, yogurt. You can put candy bars in the freezer. Anything that you want to keep cool.
Anything that you want to keep cool. Brian Dennehy, number 1. Lines
R.I.P.
delivered in a movie that tickle me. Oh my God, what a great line. And that has been this week's edition
of Uber Cinco. From Old Irving Park has been
Nathan Hennenfent.
And from somewhere, I think under a rock, I'm not sure, has been
The heart of Sopico Shopping District, Mitch Brinkman.
And I have been Brian Ernst. And as Bizbear always says, relax. It's just money. You'll make more. Auf Wiedersehen and adios. You've just listened to Uber Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.